Hey, good morning, friends. I am back from vacation. Hey, friends. So I'm back, but not really 100% mentally. I had all these grand ideas that while I was on vacation, I was going to be able to have time to maybe do a quick live or something just to show you around. I apologize profusely for just going AWOL, but it could not be helped. I did not get to do like a whole bunch of sharing. I will get some pictures and stuff out. I don't know. I've never tried to do pictures and then make like a reel with some music, but I'll try. But it won't be until late next week at least. I will get my live stream listed. We'll have Sunday coffee talk featuring tea. But I'll just tell you a little bit about it. And actually, I think it'll be good to kind of talk anyways, because it'll be related as to things we're going to do for some self care and how we handle ourselves in this sort of situation. So I'm just going to blather on and go through the whole thing. But first, I'm going to share with you something kind of fun and exciting. Oops, my water fortunately was empty. So while I was there, I got this awesome Soul Blast limited edition Coca-Cola. It's zero sugar. I know some people don't like sodas. Listen, I don't care at this point. Right now, everything I've been having is so dirty and I'm so tired and inflamed from other things that is unrelated to food that I'm gonna have this pleasure. But so, for those of you who don't know anime, Soul Blast, and that character there is from Bleach. Bleach is an animation series, and also they had it was a manga first, then an anime, really hugely popular. It's what's called a shonen, which is sort of like a never give up a hero who has traditionally kind of like a little bit of a illusory, but super dedicated, super easy to love, um, and just never, ever, ever gives up and just keeps pushing and trying until ultimately extremely successful. And everything they do is utterly amazing. And they just keep pushing themselves beyond all their limits and in order to be heroically successful. So that's what shonen is. I mean, within a curve, it's very high level. But and Bleach is one of those type of things. The main character, despite looking very adulty here, is a 15-year-old high school student who has had kind of the hard life because all his life he's seen ghosts. And then one day he is with someone who tells him that she is uh, one of the soul uh, people, a soul reaper, which is basically, a grim reaper adjacent thing. There's several of them. They have their own little realm that, they're reapers. So, and, but she dies, and as she dies, she passes her reaper power onto him. So he becomes one of these soul reapers, and thus the story. It's a lot of struggles, it's a lot of things, goes through a lot of heavy, heartfelt emotions, and basically he never gives up and he does what he's supposed to do and he's amazing. And Coca-Cola made this awesome limited edition. It's a very teeny can, so like it looks really big on the screen, but it's only this big around. It's actually long and tall. Uh, I'm just gonna out myself right here and say, by comparison, here's a regular standard sugar-free Red Bull. So it's taller, but the same width. And special thanks to Red Bull because they were sponsors for me and well for all of our department and the con in general. They rolled in coolers, they left big giant piles of Red Bull, both regular and sugar free, and we stocked the coolers all weekend so attendees had free wild access to Red Bull, as did our staff because they gave us extra supplies for our staff. So a lot of Red Bull was drank by an awful lot of people, which is probably from the best because by the condition of things at night, a lot of those people were surely very intoxicated and needed a Red Bull. Um, but I think we should open it, don't you? 100%, I am sure. I'm so tired. I could drink 20 caffeinated sodas and coffees and Red Bulls, and it ain't going to make a difference. I think after I'm done with work for the day, I might even just make myself a warm tea and just go to bed. I don't know. Well, probably a warm magnesium, actually. I'll have that by Vital Calm. Let's taste it. Well, does a Soul Reaper. What flavor soda makes you think Soul Reaper? Well, here's to not dying, I guess. Hmm. It's very fizzy. It's so fizzy that it's hard to taste. It's sweet. I don't know. That's a weird flavor. Sort of like vanilla Coke, but also a little bit like a cherry Coke, but also it's got a heavy vanilla undertone, which I don't know if it's supposed to have a vanilla undertone, but it's very also sort of like you accidentally mix together a cherry Coke and a vanilla Coke. Unusual. I'm definitely going to drink it though because it's my limited edition. I had to make a donation to charity to get my hands on it, and I love doing stuff like that. So, anyways, um, I go to my hotel on Wednesday and I get my hotel room all situated, full of like, I took enough keto snacks to pretend that 10 keto people were going to be there constantly eating snacks all day. I brought most of them home, and that's fine. Actually, I gave away a lot of them. Like, if I took a big Tupperware tub of it, and I was about half gone. And I actually didn't eat very much of it. I ate like 2 servings of Hilo chips. So definitely keto junk food was popular at my convention. So there's that. But I did that on Wednesday to just get situated because I knew I would be very busy during the convention. And Wednesday evening, we also get some things situated as part of leadership. We're responsible for things for getting ready for the con. And we had some pre things to do, had some meetings, that kind of stuff, just general screwing around. And so I stayed there and I got a good night's sleep. I got up Thursday at about 6 o'clock in the morning, took a hot shower, and came back home. Attila had gotten the U-Haul, and we got everything into the U-Haul. Let me tell you, I am generally pretty fit, but already I was like, wow, this is way more intense than I was expecting it to be. And I don't know why it was that intense, but it was. But so that was my strength training for the first bit of the day, and then we got to the venue and we had to unload it all into one room. And then Attila went off to return the U-Haul, and then my 2 helpers for setup arrived, and guess what we did? Yes, we had to hoist all the stuff again and move it into my actual room, my big tabletop gaming room. And then we had to tear it all up and set it up so it was 2 by 20 tents. And then we had to weave all the lights through, and they were blowing fuses left and right. So it was up and down and up and down and up and down. And then we set up I called it my tent of holding. And that was a 13 by 13 tent. We got walls up on it. And then what we did was we set up some shelving in there. I put all of the waters, which I've lesson learned. Next year I can buy less water because I bought enough water for us to survive a stint of several months in the Sahara Desert, and we didn't go through them. And so by Saturday afternoon, I did load up a cart and send it off with Attila and say, drop this off at the house while you go check on the animals because clearly we're not going to drink it. And on Sunday, I don't want to be hoisting really heavy cases of water because we will be lifting heavy totes full of board games. So there was that. And I had, so we're into Thursday now doing all of this setup, and I get a call, and it's one of my D&D dungeon masters who says, I woke up this morning and I think I'm dying, but actually I'm in the urgent care because I'm actually legit sick, and I'm sorry, but I'm not going to make it. And then about an hour and a half later, he texts me and he says, like, for sure, I'm not going to make it because I'm definitely not getting better. As it turns out, I'm flu positive. And I was like, yes, you are not coming here with the flu. So luckily, I have another really good friend who was already being a game master for me running Starfinder, and he said, I can somehow manage to pull this miracle off, and I will be here Friday morning at like 8 o'clock to prepare for your 10 o'clock session. I'm going to go home now and make characters and put it all together. So he took care of that while I canceled the other two events, and I notified our HR system, hey, I had a drop, but it's not one you can replace. Then the worst thing happened. I got another message. Hey, I got there and I'm all checked in, but I'm going home because I don't feel well. And then he said, and I'm doing a COVID test, and he pinged positive. So he definitely could not come. And the worst part of that is that was my late night closure. That was my last best hope for some sleep. So we're working through it. I'm like, well, that's okay because I was smart and I put my four best people that I trust and 100% know that they can handle anything. And if they need to make a decision, they can make a decision. They will be fine. I'll just take a nap during the day. But for whatever reason, I get in there on Friday morning and we go, and I just cannot allow myself to go. I'm sure it would have been fine, but it did feel like every 5 minutes there was a, hey, Maitreya, hey, Maitreya, hey, Maitreya, hey, Maitreya, we need this, we need that, and a lot of back and forth. So I just didn't make it. So I was in there. I had to get everything opened. And so I actually got into and unlocked the room and finished setup Friday morning at about 8 o'clock, and we got that situated, and I was there all the way through to the very bitter end, 2 a.m. I got back to my hotel room, and I literally stripped down my clothes. I didn't even get pajamas, and I basically flopped into the bed and said, holy cow, my legs hurt. Took me all of 2 minutes to concrite out. The alarm went off at 7, and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. But I got up and I took the longest shower I have ever taken in my entire life, and I needed it in order to get up. Then I made myself my lovely keto sandwich. I had made a loaf of the keto egg white bread with the grated butter in it, so it was really tasty. I did that. I made myself a sandwich with bacon and salami and cheese and ham, and ran out the door with it, got into my room, did all the setup. I made sure everything was situated and ready to go. I pulled out the games that were for events. I made the library look nice. I put away all the crap that we were too tired to put away the night before. So Saturday, I'm thinking for sure I will find a way to take a nap. I did not. So there I was on my 4 hours of sleep, maybe. Uh, and not loving my life, but 10 a.m. To 2 a.m. Now here's the bad part. So here we are into Saturday, and I'll tell you more about it, but right now I'm just telling you schedule. At 1:52, the fire alarm goes off. I say the F bomb 100%, which I won't say it on my YouTube, but let me just tell you, I was like FML. But I still had some people in my room that were finishing up games, and I had just walked around and said, like, hey guys, even if you're not going to finish, I'm real sorry. Come back and check it out again tomorrow. It's last call, just like the bar. You don't got to go home, but you can't stay here. So, but it's 1:52 and the fire alarm goes off, and everybody's like, oh, of course, because it's not a convention without the fire alarm. But I was like, but guys, you really got to get out. I'll tell you what, though, I'm going to be nice and I'm not going to rush you out here like it's an emergency. Come here, get your IDs. It was only like 3 or 4, and we have a good file system. So it was like boom, 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 out. But we get out the door, and I'm like, what's that smell? It smells like fire. Now, the hotel venue did actually say it's not a real fire, it's under control. It was a cigarette that went into a grate, it temporarily ignited, caused a bunch of smoky grossness, but there's no actual real panicky emergency thing. However, I personally cannot leave my room until it gets locked up. The hotel cannot just drop things and come and lock my room so that I can leave, because they've got firemen everywhere, well, fire people. There's cops everywhere milling about. And let me tell you, holy cow, like, conventions are known for some pretty heavy drinking party animal parties. And this con is no exception for that. But I don't know if it's just like post-pandemic spring back or what, but they were off the chain. They were so drunk. And 2 of them like super concerned me. One of them was like really, really, really bad. And some of our security people noticed, and they were kind of like, hey, are you sure you're okay? And I was just like to myself, I was like, holy cow, don't die, dude. You're like teeny tiny and you are wasted. And his friends were like running back and forth in a tizzy and trying to make phone calls. And they were in like that take care panic mode. And we're like, hey, 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 calm TF down, because what's going on? Is he okay? Do we need to get medics? Do we need to? And they're like, no, 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 he'll be okay. And time is clicking by, and we're at 2:30, and many of you have met me. You know, I'm not an especially large person. This girlie is half my size, probably about the same height, but I mean, like, I'm I'm no porker, but uh by comparison, it's pretty beefcake. Um, she was crawling onto the floor, and I was like, holy shit. And I'm getting security because I can see them and they know me. And I'm like, just as she reaches up to the trash can, boots, and then sort of like lays over on the floor. And I'm like, whoa, this is way more than any normal person should be drinking. And what the hell? And finally, another girl comes up and she's like saying, oh, this is my friend. She's okay. And I'm like, she's not okay. What the hell's the matter with you? She's not okay. And by that time, because we had put the bug out, there were like 7 or 8 security guys around, and they were getting the fire people, because she was just laying there. And then all of a sudden she sat up, booted again, my joy, of course, and then drank some water and said she was okay, which she was clearly not. But you cannot force people to go with medics or do things against their will. So she and her friend staggered off, I'm hoping, to a hotel room where she slept and was fine the next day. I'm sure she was not fine the next day, but fine. But like for that, those were really, there were some other sick people in the mornings, but not a ton. The rest were like normal party intoxicated, but those 2, man, I was like, whoa. But so Sunday, we have snow, and my room was supposed to be open till 4. I actually backed it off to 3 and said, hey, and I actually had my team start tearing stuff down pretty hardcore for most of the day so that it would be easier for us to get out. Let's have some more soda. It's weird. I'm so flappy. It's so bizarre. I don't know. I like things that are an experience. And I'm not sure whether I'm going to say it's good, but it's not bad, but it's definitely weird. It's sort of like when you get like those bizarre flavors of Bang energy drinks and you can't stop drinking it because it's just so weird. Yeah, it's that. So Sunday, we get everything all torn down. It feels like it takes forever, but then we get I have many hands, and I cannot tell you how grateful I am. Plus, I had some people who most of their shifts were the load in, and then they did like little bits of work around, and then they did a bulk of their time on load out. And uh, they hoisted those totes and got it in there. I have an awesome, awesome volunteer who is an amazingly useful, helpful individual, and he actually got in the U-Haul with Attila. See, I told you guys, I am fried. Man, like I can barely keep my eyes open, and I feel bad because I'm like, I know that that's not a nice look. It makes me seem like I'm not paying attention to you. I love you guys, but I am a crispy critter. Anyways, they get it unloaded, and they get here, and my besties who are the helpers in the loading and the people that went with them said, "Oh no, your driveway." And before Attila got there with the U-Haul, they shoveled most of the driveway. What? Who does that? My friends, of course. They're amazing. They're the best ever. But anyways, so the driveway is shoveled. Attila gets the U-Haul in there, and they unload everything. And Attila returns the U-Haul, eventually comes back to the convention, and it's a relief. So then eventually we get to go to the end of convention staff dinner, and we have a nice little meal, and then we head back, and Attila gets to go to sleep. I go out and do leadery things and try to be a little social, but eventually I'm like, I can't even. I can't even. So I finally get back. I finally crawl into bed. I get up on Monday morning, and then I load out my hotel room, and eventually, and I get that here. I unload a few little things, and then it's also leadership is responsible for the rest of the convention getting loaded out into semis and into storage. So I head back downtown and I do that. And by the time we are done with that, it's about 6 o'clock in the evening. I am ravenous enough that the other people around me are looking tasty, and I'm like, well, it's carnivore, am I right? But instead, we decide to go to a place that we here in Columbus. It's called Thurman's. They have like gigantic burgers. Like I kid you not, their hamburgers are like this. It's big, and normally I would not be able to eat the whole thing. Normally, I would eat like half and be like, I'm full. I think I might have been full, but I don't know because I was so out of sorts and I was struggling. But so was everyone else. We were all in the same boat, but they were more reasonable. But they also had French fries and stuff. So they ate French fries. They also ordered appetizers and ate a bunch of fried food appetizers. I had my burger. It was a bacon cheddar ranch burger. It also had some tomato, onion, and lettuce on one side. I ate the 2 tomato slices. They were hardly any tomato slices. When I told the guy I didn't want the onion rings that come with it, he said, "Are you sure? What about a different side?" And I was like, "No, I don't eat really any. I don't eat any of that stuff." And he said, "What if I put a little bacon, extra bacon on there for you?" And I was like, "That sounds great." So my burger, I wish I had taken a picture, but I kid you not, I was done. DONE done. But it was a mound of bacon on my gigantic burger. And let me just tell you, I powered through that like no tomorrow. I was hungry, and like some of my my convention friends, that's they're my peeps now. They were like, "Okay, you were not kidding. You were hungry." And I was like, "Damn, Skippy." But the nice thing was too is they didn't have to, but they paid for my meal. And so that was nice. That was a nice touch. It was nice because after that, phew, it was some hard ass work and I was struggling. Coming home was a struggle because I was so tired I felt like that it was actually difficult. I really had to work to concentrate on driving, which is not a feeling I'm used to. But not that you don't concentrate while driving, but there's a lot of intuition that goes along with it, and I really didn't have. I really had to be very, very awake and mindful. I was I was like, wow, I am done. So I came home, I made my magnesium, and once again, I plopped into the bed and I was like, out. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to be out very soon. So I almost didn't want to get on the scale because I knew that based on like the fact that my fingers were sausages and everything was tingling and hurting just from overwork over the last week. I mean, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I mean, you can see they're still sausagey right now. Um, so listen, I work out. I'm athletic. I do squats, like 200 squats every day. I do all of that stuff. I'm a crazy person. I work really hard, but I hurt every day. I'm getting back into my bed and then like so little sleep. I'm pretty sure of that 4 hour sleep that I got the one night that I told you about. That was the most sleep I had the whole convention. Saturday to Sunday, I had two. Sunday to Monday, I did conk out, but it again, I had to go out and be social and leadery and talk with our guests and talk with other people. I'm telling you, mm, it was really rough. I'm pretty sure since last Wednesday until yesterday when I got home, it was probably hopefully 8 hours worth of sleep, but I'm not sure that I haven't had even that much. And then last night I finally had a full night's sleep, and it's still hard. And my body does hurt. And I'm sure the fact that I ate like crap didn't help that. Um, I did get on the scale, and to no surprise, it really jumped up a lot. But duh, if I'm so hurt that everything is swollen and inflamed, and on top of that, I've been eating like a Quest bar here and there because I just have to have something. I ripped the tops off of pizza, and yesterday I knew I didn't have any energy to do anything. And so even though they are bad for me, they are a terrible choice. I bought myself a keto pizza from the local pizza joint that buys those Venice bakery crusts. It was delicious. I devoured half of it yesterday, half of it today, on top of that Thurman burger that I ate yesterday. Excuse me. Yeah, the soda is getting me. And I'm drinking soda and Red Bulls, which are not carb free. They've got 2 carbs, every Red Bull. You know, duh. But now I'm going to go to bed early again today, probably right after work because I can barely keep my eyes open. Everything is watery. It feels almost like being slightly intoxicated, only it's just exhaustion. It's going to be a week. I've got to recover, but I have a bunch of sandwich stuff left over, the ham, the salami, the bacon, and my cheese. Plus, I still have some egg white bread. But I actually picked up a giant bag of power greens. I know a lot of people don't like their leafy greens. I like my leafy greens, and I have some ranch dressing. And so for the rest of the week, that's probably when I'm gonna hard boil some eggs, and I'll just be having me some nice chef salads, nice big chef salads. Sounds good. I also have some chicken bone broth or stock, as we used to call it, that I can have too. So I could always have some of that bacon in with my chicken stock. I don't know, it sounds a little weird, but I think it would taste good. And some hard-boiled eggs in there. I don't know what I'm gonna call that, but we'll make it work. Maybe not, because now it's sounding less appealing. I'm super tired, guys. So the rest of the convention, oh my God, it was amazing. So in my room, it's tabletop gaming. So I have my board game library. I have a bunch of tables. We have our headquarters for our Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Those are trading card, collectible card games. They were tournaments. We had a big Magic the Gathering Power Cube. We can talk about that some other time, and I'll explain what it is. And that was chock full. We had our four tops for the mahjong. We had our Learn to Play Go program, and then our RPGs, which are role playing games. We had Pathfinder, Starfinder, Dungeon and Dragons, and BESM, which is Big Eyes Small Mouth. It's an anime RPG. And Friday, we opened at 10 a.m. The people poured in. I was slammed, and I love seeing people play games. I love introducing them to games. I love checking their games out. I love seeing people get engaged with games. It was great. We did not stop until finally we stopped checking out games from the board game library the first night. It was a little bit too early, so lesson learned. We'll fix that. Actually, we already fixed it on Saturday. And and a couple of the tournaments ended right at midnight, and it kind of coincided with when there was a rave, but we don't call it a rave here because raves are not legal. The electronic dance started, and so it got a little emptier than I was comfortable with. I didn't care for that, and I know that my convention directors probably don't love that either, but uh, we pinch hit on Saturday. From, we had a little bit of a light, which, of course people go to the rave, then they go party and drink. So from like 10 to noon, it wasn't empty, but it was definitely lighter, and that let me have like a little breath of relief, of fresh air. I don't know what the right word is. Tired. I'm gonna say it 100 times. Oh my God, I might be dying. I feel like it. I feel like death. Anyways, at one point my room was so full of people that some people couldn't get in to play games, and some people were actually sitting on the floors setting up games and playing there. So that's a good problem to have. High success. So uh, I forgot what I was telling you. Anyways, oh, we also have a program called Play to Win. It's totally awesome. Game manufacturers send me games, and they get set out on our table. We check them out. You check the game out. You play the game. When you come back, we give a raffle ticket. They keep one half. The other half goes into the little ballot box of the game that they played. Then on Sunday, we gather everybody up and we get real loud and we hold the raffle. And people who played the game have a chance to win it and take it home. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And we gave away like 32 games. How cool is that? It was awesome. Um, I could not have been happier. It went really well, despite my tired. So I can't wait for next year. I've got some big things in the plans, and like I said, I'll try and string together some pictures and stuff. And I'm not very good at the whole editing thing. I mean, you guys, if you've been here, we put the K in quality for this channel. Uh, it's a lot. Um, just trying to think. Yeah, I think that's everything. I mean, it's not everything. I can't even begin to tell you. I actually did dive into the other rooms in my department, so I checked out the console gaming. That's like stinking cool. It was really awesome. Then I went into the PC gaming room and checked that out. You guys, it's kind of outside my element, but it's freaking cool in there. It's neat. But my director runs that one, and he likes mood lighting, so it's real dark in there. And he came into my room and he's like, "It's so bright in here," because board games you need to be able to see, and it has to be really high well lit. So when I popped into his room, I was like, "Oh, it's so dark in here, I can't see." uh, but it was good. And other sponsors of my room besides the Red Bull, Japanime Games. We had a, we had a table of their games, and I had two game masters who played games with the people, the Japanime games. What I did find out was, I liked it when I've played it before, but I hadn't really sat down and really looked at it for a long time. The Japanime Games has Cowboy Bebop, and in exchange, Japanime is sending me that, so I'll have that again soon in my hot hands, and I'll be excited. So, also really kind. I was telling them my sad story about how way back when they first published their Naruto uh, Kickstarter that I had backed it, but I was working with another game manufacturer and I was never able to pick up my Kickstarter copy at the Princess Party. Uh, they have a Princess Party because they have another game called Heart of Crown, and then they have Tanto Cuore, which are it's a deck builder. But at any rate, they got me a copy, a Kickstarter deluxe edition copy, so I didn't miss out anything. Then I joked with them. I was like, this Kickstarter was way too late. You guys got to do better. They were like, get out of here. So it was really good. It was a really good convention. I will say, I know that everywhere was super busy. The live events were posting that they had well beyond capacity and had to turn people away. We're going to have to find a way to bridge the gap by the fact that our attendee numbers are not up to full blown pre pandemic numbers still, but we don't fit in the space well anymore. So we have to find a way to expand and work through some of those. But I believe everybody agrees that that's what we need to do. And so that's a good thing. We just have to find the El Dinero, right? So good stuff on the horizon. I've started working on next year already. I've got some great stuff in the pipeline. I really hope some of you keto friends can actually maybe consider coming out. I think that you will love it. So that is everything. Oh, yeah. I had pre-cooked bacon. Oh, yeah. Oh, I had a breakdown tearful moment at the con. I did. I did. I cried. And then I had to shove all my feelings back. It was not a bad moment at all. I've told you guys before about my friend Howard who passed away last year. I've been crushed. And OhioCon is especially sentimental for that for me because I had finally convinced him that he should come to OhioCon and he was going to be one of my leads for running RPGs. At that time there was a different department head, but I was introducing them and we were doing all these fun plans when he passed away. But another friend of ours wasn't there, again, due to being unwell, sent his wife and child, and they dropped off his copy of Mansions of Madness and said, this is for you. It was Howard's. We painted some of the minis and customized it up some, and we think that you really should have that. And I'm just telling you, the thoughtfulness of such an elaborate and heartfelt treasured gift really gets to me. And it's not this time. It's not even because of how tired I am. It's just genuinely a loving gesture. So that was a highlight of my con. Of course, we reminded everybody that later this year I turned 50, which, made some extra celebratoriness in the room. Our convention director was asking for pictures of the room, so I amusingly stood up on a table and said, hey, everybody, our convention director can't be here. Why don't you everybody say hello? And as conventions go, they loved it and everybody waved up high in the air and I was able to send a picture saying, hey, they're waving to you. So it was a good time. We had a great convention. I'm tired. And let's have this one more weirdo drink on the camera just so I can tell you how strange it is again. It's so bizarre. Very, very weird. No regrets. All right. You guys have a fantastic time. I'm glad I'm back. Uh, Sorry, I didn't even get my Cheese Friday video out, which was even edited and everything. But we'll be back on schedule now. So I'll have another video on Thursday, and then our normal Cheese Friday, and Coffee Talk will be live on Sunday. So see you cats later. Bye bye.